It's what it is. Back when Greek developer, still on board the full physical train. His fees have upped. I thought he was gonna give me the development for a lot cheaper than he is, but it's not the case. Up the fee, not unreasonably though. It's very reasonable, extremely reasonable actually. So the truth of the matter is I've kind of been backed into a corner financially. I've done everything that I can do to put myself in a position to achieve this, right? I've been backed into a corner. I've been backed into a wall. And too many times already, as it is, I've slithered my way out of certain corners, as it is already, so I'm at a point where I can't slither anymore. I'm at a point where I can't escape anymore. I was supposed to be caught ages ago, you know what I mean? The fact that I'm here is, in itself, is insane, so truly now I'm backed into a corner and nothing I can do will get me to a place where I can single-handedly, and I say that to introduce something I'm about to talk about in a moment, single-handedly fund this damn thing. I can't do it. I was stressing out a bit. Well, I'm always stressing out, but I was stressing out a bit more than usual today. And like for the past couple of days, because I've been scrambling. Just trying to find a way out. I'm like 66% of the way there, I've gone too far to fail now. So I think what I ought to do is I should turn Full Physical into a company, legalize it right out the gate. That way, it legitimizes my affairs. In the case of me trying to get people on board with funding and financing and investing in stuff. This was something that was gonna happen eventually. I just didn't think that it'd be the first thing I do out the gate with the very first pedal. Yeah, I thought I was gonna work my way up to this, but it seems like this might be an integral part in the pedal coming out to begin with. So yeah, I'm trying to legitimize my affairs, and the reason I put such an emphasis on legitimizing it is because no one's gonna invest in the thing just off of word of mouth, So I feel like I need to get dudes investing in this in a manner where they'll be benefiting off of it in a legal sense rather than just a word of mouth, pinky promise type of way, So I'm thinking of just registering it as a company. I'm speaking to some advisors on how to raise capital because I am burnt out. I've got a couple of friends that could help me, but only in the only in the instance of whatever it is I'm trying to get them to help me with being legit, and this is the way to do it. So tomorrow, I've already sent an email. I've already signed up to one of the company registration service providers. I've already signed up with them. I'm getting an email. I'm getting a call from them in the morning tomorrow morning, like 9 a.m. And I know what you might be thinking. Why not just sign up directly with whatever commission thingy majig rather than seeking out a company registration service provider? It's because it's easier. I do like the idea of that support. They offer quite a bit of services on top of helping you register the company, such as like startup training, like free startup training within that package. And the package is quite affordable. They offer that. They offer some other perks as well. So it's a support structure, and right now that's exactly what I need. I need someone or like a team really that understands through and through the just the mess that I'm looking to get myself into, and some a team that can guide me with that. So yeah, I'm seeking financial um assistance from. I imagine the company registration guys are gonna come through with their own onboard. What's the term I'm looking for? In-house investors and stuff who assist me and stuff like that. But I kind of want to put my friends on first. I'm sure they won't have a problem with that. So I want to reach out to my friends first before dealing with any other investors and stuff. So yeah, because I would have loved, a friend approaching me trying to get me to buy shares or whatever the case is. I'll hear from them. I'll hear if it's a matter of selling shares or if it's another form of investment. I'll just take their advice. But then just off of my thinking, I think shares might be the way to go. Earlier today, I took to trying to sell my gear on YouTube, which was something I was really not keen on. I was really reluctant to do that because as it is already, I've appealed quite a bit to my YouTube audience. By appeal, I mean I've begged. That's what I mean. Like I've pled with my YouTube audience enough as it is. So I kind of didn't want to try to sell my gear to them in order to because for a couple of reasons, because I've already pled with them, and because I don't want to give off the idea that I'm incapable to the very people that I want to believe in me, you know, to the very people that I want to believe, to the very people that I want to come across as capable to. Essentially, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I did it anyway because asking is receiving. I didn't get any word from anyone though. So yeah, I'm trying this approach now. Yeah, another thing I wanted to say is that I've got a business plan, so I'm not hiring these. I saw they've got under their service list, they've got a service whereby they offer like assistance or training or guidance in terms of business direction or how to handle stuff and shit like that. No, I've got a plan. I've got more than an idea. I've got a vision, dude. I've got a vision of what the business is like. So essentially, I'm good on my own. The only reason I'm bringing them aboard is to legitimize my affairs, for one, and then secondly, to help me facilitate the whole, investment thing. And that's pretty much it. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. Like I said, I'm like 60% of the way there, and I can't push anymore. Trust me. Trust me. Had I been able to push further, I would have pushed. Because I've been saying to begin with so often this video. But yeah, as it is, dude, like, I don't like, approaching my friends and especially regarding financial stuff, But I believe with this, their interests are kept in mind as well. Like the I'm not the only one on the receiving end. You know, there's something in it for them as well. Is essentially what I'm trying to say. I saw a reel from an entrepreneur, a local entrepreneur actually from my country who's rather successful and who has quite a bit of motion, quite a bit of traction online and stuff, and he's often like the face of entrepreneurship for my country at least, well at least for like um yeah, let's just leave it at that. For like my people, I guess. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. He's like the face because he's one of the guys who really got out there and he made something of himself from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I saw a reel of his and he answered a question that he gets a lot. The question was, how do you start a business with no money? I think I might be, paraphrasing the question, but that was it essentially. How do I start a business with no money? And then he said, you don't need money to start a business. What you need is a customer. You need someone who's going to buy your product or your service. You only need money in the case of growing your business. And I thought about that. I was like, cool. I've got customers. I've as it stands right now, I've got due to bought the thing. The only thing that needs to happen now is for them to receive it. So it's apparent and it's clear that I've got that box ticked, right? It's clear that I passed that little test, the test to see whether people want your product to begin with or not. I passed that test because as it stands right now, I've got people who've bought the item and I haven't even made it yet in its entirety. So I believe I've got if anyone's got the right now to start, whining a bit about capital, it's me, because I've passed through that whole getting a customer phase. It's time for me to grow the necessary funds now. in order to provide for the customers. And I believe this is it. Like I said, this was something that I was going to do anyway. I just didn't think it was going to come this soon. Because I thought I was going to operate from under the table for a bit. I thought I was gonna get a hang of operating just on my own without any kind of legal structures in place for a bit before I dived in and made everything legal. Like initially I thought to myself that I thought I was gonna make like 100,000 South African rands before I even thought about registering a company. Just to make it clear that this business is profitable and it's something that warrants. I'm looking for another word. Yeah, it's a business that warrants you making you going through all that effort of making it legitimate and legal and stuff like that. But no, it turns out that one of the very first steps that I have to make in this business is making it legal. Because again, I need the capital, and I hate to have to need capital, because I love the idea of just doing it on my own and whatnot. Because everyone needs capital. I hate to be like everyone else. You get what I mean? I hate to be like everyone else because I'm not to blow my own horn, but I'm a bit different. So the fact that I'm in the same boat as everyone else and that my my business venture needs capital as well, that kind of pissed me off. Well, that's the truth of the matter. Not a whole lot of funding though. I essentially need like $500 on top of the funds that I already have to be like $600 to be comfortable in producing not only the the software of the V1, the Cape Coastal V1, but a handful of the circuits, a handful of the enclosures as well, and the delivery of everything. As it stands right now, I need like 600 USD to be comfortable. At the very least, very least, I'll need like 400. Yeah, which is why I say I'm like 60% of the way there. I'm so close, dude. I'm so close. I can smell my success. I can smell my success, dude. I am so close. So yeah, I'm excited. I was panicking for a huge chunk of the day, but it suddenly dawned on me that I should maybe get some proper investment involved through proper procedures, and then I cheered up, and then my mood kind of changed. So yeah, I'm super optimistic for tomorrow. I'll hear good news. I'm hopeful. I'll be hearing good news tomorrow. And then as soon as I'm registered, dude, I'm hitting up my buddies, my very capable buddies. I've got some really capable buddies, man, who've got, very supportive backgrounds and like families and shit. That's not so much the case for me, but you make do with what you have. Make do with what you have. Thanks for listening. I'm super excited. Let's go.